Welcome to the programme. Now, when you are in the relegation zone, the best way to survive is to beat other teams in the relegation zone. Well, 19th placed Burnley play Luton Town, who are 18th, in just over an hour's time. A win for Luton would move them out of the drop zone, but Vincent Kompany's Burnley will fight them all the way at Turf Moor, as Adam Wilde now reports.
The welcome to Turf Moor this time of year may not be especially warm, but so far this season it has proved especially generous. There isn't a single top-flight side that has ever lost more of their opening home games to a season. Burnley's perilous Premier League position tells the tale.
What our belief is still...
Now to the women's game, and there's a trip home for Manchester City defender Steph Horton, who'll travel to play Durham this weekend as her side join the fourth round of the FA Cup. City are second in the WSL, 3 points behind defending champions Chelsea in the league. Horton says they're going to have to be near perfect to be in contention for the title, but the FA Cup is a different matter. She feels it's particularly special for her. The former England captain says she's been inundated with ticket requests for this weekend. Steph has been speaking to the BBC's football reporter Emma Sanders. The FA Cup. That interview with Steph Horton on the BBC Sport website. Right, let's take you to the Africa Cup of Nations now, because it kicks off tomorrow in Ivory Coast. Now, despite going through a civil war just over a decade ago, the country has produced some of Africa's greatest players, such as Didier Drogba and Yaya Toure. Since the conflict ended, Ivory Coast has become a growing power in West Africa. BBC Sport Africa's Ian Williams joins us now from Abidjan. Ian, a very warm welcome to the programme. Not long to go. Do you feel the excitement is starting to build there? 57 sporting bodies have signed an open letter to the Prime Minister protesting at the decision to not have a Minister of State for Disabled People. Mims Davies was appointed to the role last month within the Department for Work and Pensions as a Parliamentary Under-Secretary of State, the lowest rung of the ministerial ladder. Well, Paralympics GB has today expressed its deep concern, saying the move means disabled people do not have a voice at the top level of government. Earlier, I spoke to the Chief Executive of Paralympics GB, Dave Clark, and began by asking him if the timing was particularly bad ahead of Paris 2024. Sporting bodies have signed this open letter to the government. What have the individual sporting associations been saying to you? Well, we are just a couple of days away from the start of the Australian Open, and Jack Draper is in good form ahead of the first Grand Slam of the year. The Brit has... Meanwhile, Emma Raducanu returns to play her first Grand Slam since last year's Australian Open. The former US Open champion says she's feeling positive after her long injury layoff, but that she now needs some time to return to her peak. Raducanu faces the American Shelby Rogers in the first round. Now, Team GB's men and women's hockey teams have one last chance to qualify for this summer's Olympics. Both need to finish in the top 3 of their respective tournaments, or they won't be going to Paris. The men are in Oman this weekend, while the women travel to Valencia. Their first game is against Canada, whose coaching team consists of a few familiar faces from Team GB's Rio gold medal team. Well, earlier I spoke to Laura Roper, who's the most decorated GB hockey player, and began by asking her about the Canadian dugout. I would imagine that there might have been some banter if you're all still on the Rio WhatsApp group. Have you had any exchanges? Be a huge advantage. Obviously, Kate and Danny know you so well and some of the other players so well. Do you think they're going to be well prepared? You've had so far, obviously, St Helens in England, and, you know, memorably, you were the first woman to score a Challenge Cup try at Wembley last year. Just talk me through how special an occasion that was.
I want to relive the moment all the time.
The highest level, Tara, but also you referee at the highest level. Is it difficult to combine the two? Do you find yourself questioning other referees when you're playing?
I wouldn't say I question the referee.
I think so too. Well, that match will be on the BBC iPlayer. Right, before we go, a reminder of our top story. Burnley host Luton Town at Turf Moor shortly, with both sides in desperate need of 3 points. That's all from Sports Day. Thanks very much for watching. Bye-bye.